should be obvious to everyone at this point that we're in the middle of a major management shakeup at TriMet. We're going to be having Steve Banta leave, and apparently Peggy's leaving, who I would imagine was fired by Steve Banta. I don't know who else would do it, which is pretty unusual. I don't know why that would happen, but it's too bad that management doesn't tell us what's going on in these situations. When we read the article about Steve going to Phoenix, the first article, he mentioned he wanted to sink the ship. He didn't want to just turn it around. He wanted to sink the ship. So I'd really like to know exactly what he meant by that and what he was trying to do and why he couldn't do it, or did he do it before he left. I think that it would be good for all of us to know what he found in the 2 years that he was here. It was 2 years, 3 years, a little bit, maybe over two, a little bit. I would like to know exactly what his opinion, his honest opinion. Now, I don't know if we can get that because there's probably some termination agreement that says that you can't talk about the organization that you left, blah, blah. They probably signed some sort of confidentiality agreement, which is a shame. It's a shame because we're going to lose all of that knowledge that he's gained in the time he was here when he leaves. We're not going to know what he was thinking. We're not going to know what he saw. We're not going to know what he thought we could do to improve this place. It's never going to go beyond him and whatever confident, Fred or whoever. It'll never go anywhere but those people. And that's a damn shame because this is a tax-funded position in a public service agency. And if you're working in a public service agency, and that's what TriMet is, it's here to serve the public. That's the goal of TriMet and other service agencies, to serve the public. You owe the public explanations for your actions. There shouldn't be anything secret about anything at a public agency. All of the communications, all of the procedures, everything that's done in a public agency, which is 100% funded by tax dollars, should be available to the taxpayers. We should be able to know what's going on here. Shouldn't be any secrecy, not just here, but in any public service agency. Anything that's set up with tax dollars is accountable to the taxpayers, and should not be any kind of secret documentation going on behind the scenes. I would like to know exactly what he found here and what he really wanted to do and why he couldn't do it. My gut says Fred wouldn't let him. And, we've already seen this happen. Fred doesn't. If you have a dispute with Fred, you're out the door. And Fred is the king, Lord, high, exalted leader here, and he won't tolerate any dissidents. We've seen him replace various managers. I'm also curious as to what the story was with Peggy. I don't know how they came up with that justification. I don't know this officially. All the signs point to her being let go by Steve Banta, I guess. And it would be nice for us, the people that knew her, that worked for her, that worked for the agency, to know exactly what went into that decision. Why is that secret from us? Why can't you tell your employees what's going on with the people that are supposed to be managing us? Why is it a secret when somebody leaves here? One day Michael Ford was all of a sudden made Fred's personal somebody or other at the tune of $120,000 a year. And I guess Peggy walked into that spot. And then one day Michael Ford just disappeared. There was nothing said about it. I found Michael Ford over in Michigan or something, okay, a blogger. So nobody even told us what happened to Michael Ford. It kind of was all, well, here's Michael Ford, and then one day Michael Ford, well, we're going to make Michael my personal assistant, because Fred can do that. Fred has this incredible leeway with that money, and I've been watching him act for years. This guy has got incredible leeway with what he's doing. Complete freedom almost to make these sorts of decisions. And then the next thing, Michael Ford is gone, and he's off in some transit agency somewhere. And now we see we know what happened to Clyde Earle. That was another forced retirement. And that was too bad. Clyde Earle, I liked Clyde Earle. I think he really did a good job trying to make services excellent for this community. I think he really was a good manager. And it was sad to see him get forced out the door, too. And I don't know how Peggy Hansen can be held responsible for anything that's going on here right now. I mean, how is any of these incidents, these media-created incidents, her fault? Or what was she supposed to do about them? What would you suggest to do? I mean, if you have, you have to really understand why operators get mean here. It's hard for the public to understand why that happens. But if you have a job and you're working 10 hours a day behind the wheel of a bus, 10 hours a day of being out on let's say a route 12, okay, it's 2.5 hours from end to end. So here you are, stuck in a seat, back and forth, 10 hours a day, subjected to all kinds of stimulus from the public and from the other drivers, and then management can be brutal if something goes wrong. Year after year of that, it makes you mean. It makes you mean. You end up being mean because the job, the nature of the way it's set up here creates meanness. Okay, it does. There's no other way to put it. The nature of the seniority system here, the nature of the way the routes are designed, the nature of the public complaint system, the constant badgering from the public, you end up being mean. It happens to a lot of drivers, and I have to fight the instinct to not take out some of my frustration on passengers. There's lots of reasons why that happens. I don't see how Peggy Hansen can be blamed for any of that, and I'm not sure what happened with her situation. We don't know the facts. Some of the rumors is that she wouldn't fire somebody for something or other, and so they said, okay, then you're fired. Which would be, so she left as a martyr, in other words, and that, would be a great feather in her cap to actually stand up for something in your life and not put your money and your status ahead of principle. The point I'm trying to make here is, why can't management tell the public and its employees what's going on and why it's going on? Why is all of this a goddamn secret? Every time we go through these management changes, nobody knows what happened to precipitate these changes. They just happen. And we just go about our little, jobs. It is not the military. I know you formulated this program after the military, but we are not the military. We are actual people here, okay? We want to know what's happening to our generals. In the military, they just tell you what to do. You shut up and you do it, or you get court-martialed. I know some of that they want here, but unfortunately, a lot of us are not ex-military, so we're not attuned to that. Some of us actually are capable of thinking on our own, and we care about what's going on around us. We care about our agency. So we need to get more communication to the frontline staff about this sort of thing. I shouldn't have to send Jason McHuff to the board meeting to find out what the heck Fred is talking about. Why isn't that board meeting published somewhere on the web? I mean, I see them making audio recordings. The city of Portland it rebroadcasts all of its city council meetings on cable access. How come TriMet doesn't do that? Everything is so goddamn secret here. Why?